All right. So again, good to have you all here today. My name is Sylvan Finger, and I got my backseat cook, Connie Hauser. I'll mention her throughout, and she's our true guest for the night. As not only did she make one of the dishes we'll sample tonight, but also she's been cooking a whole lot longer than I have. So I figure between the two of us, we can get a class tonight. So, icebreaker. Uh, what did either of you eat last night? The Chinese food? Chinese food from a restaurant or from a restaurant and then okay. Oh wow. Mm. Right. A grain salad. Sounds like you're the salad expert tonight. I asked Connie, you a big green person? For me, I love pretty much anything in a salad. You can pretty much, it's just that in terms of vegetables, but usually almost everything pairs well. Not all the time, but um, oh, right, right. I'd imagine so. Pretty much anything green. It's interesting. Besides lettuce, lettuce is good for you, but there's not much nutrition, and compared to other vegetables, better lettuce than a pinky, but we're we're pushing it there. Um, but any other tips for a good salad? You got to take everything out and prep it. Yeah. Huh. The steamer, like a steamer of some sort. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Definitely. Um, so you did share a little. You guys both shared a little bit of how your meal planning usually goes. Do you try to advance how long? Do you just kind of think of it spur of the moment, or do you try to do weekly planning or monthly? Do that organized? Whatever sounds good at the moment. Right. 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 And my wife is pretty good at about planning for the week and figuring out what the groceries we need for that, and then I go shopping because usually unless you're buying something designed to last in the cupboard, like your vegetables, generally you don't want it in the fridge too long, or else the nutrition and the vegetables go away. So, but yeah, usually a week, pretty good. When I was just by myself before I was married, um, Friday was my day off, and so I just figured out what meal I want to do for Friday and make it really big so it can last me through the weekend. And then because it was just easier for me, I just go to a restaurant and try to order the bigger items that they had there and save half of it for my dinner. So you eat out for lunch and then save the other half for dinner. So um, that's what worked for me. Right. Okay. Right. Right. Well, that's right. For instance, that was the traditional way back way of doing things. Breakfast, you just reheat your leftovers and you break the fast from your sleep and you went on your day doing your daily routines. Um, I don't know if you've heard I probably should have made a slide for this, but uh, it's on the notes. The My Plate. So that's the latest thing that people have been putting out, or at least it's the government website. It's the latest thing that the government health experts are recommending people eat. And I think, people are like, well, they can do great with the food pyramid, and they recognize that. From what I can tell, what works for me and what works for others, I think My Plate is just a very good spot to go. Where you also have your balance of fruits, vegetables, protein, and grains, and dairy. So uh, they don't show it 50 or 25% they have a plate with 4 quarters and then a cup of dairy on the side. So you got 5 quarters there. They don't show them all even, but for the most part, if you can kind of think of that, um, if you try to get an even amount of each um, for every meal, then you should have a healthy meal. I remember when I first heard this and hearing how much you're supposed to eat, I was thinking, there's no way I can eat all that food. Wait, you're supposed to have all these different kinds of food for a variety. I think over time, as long as you keep changing things up throughout the website, they just said vary your foods even with each category. So, so don't just have red meat every day. Have some dark meat and some light meat. You can even go to fish. You can, but even beans are protein. I don't know, Wanda, if you have a favorite source of protein that you tend to go towards, or if you just vary it up, like I said. But there's tofu, right? Whatever you put in your protein category, just make sure you get your I guess your fifth. Of, make that a fifth of what you're eating. You can go to the website to learn a little bit more, but I think it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't really matter if it's frozen, cooked, or raw. Just make sure you vary it up and have something good. Um, Now, one thing that was interesting that was shared with me, not over the summer, is one person called me and said they usually have a struggle at um, making sure there's enough food in their home. But then they said one time they got put in place that uh, the refrigerator was broken and they are not supposed to heat anything inside the place either. So I was thinking, that's some pretty hard times if you don't have a fridge and you're not supposed to cook things. So I looked online to see what kind of foods would actually last if you didn't have a fridge or anything to cook with. And so I learned that a tuna salad sandwich actually works pretty well. So bread, it doesn't need to be in the fridge, and the tuna fish usually comes in a can. And so you just open up the can, usually they come in pretty small cans, and so you can just spread it on your um, on your bread, and you got yourself a sandwich. Right. Oh, like you mean mix it up? Hmm. Hmm. Right. In terms of just cooking the same meal or anything. Oh, I see. Oh, right, 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 right. There's still a way to get the things you need, even if you can't do it the way you've done it before. Right. Um, a few other options for food when you have no microwave or fridge. Um, Peanut butter sandwiches. Um, I thought that was interesting. You know, you got them as a kid, didn't think anything of it. But take them to school, and they're always good. And apparently, another great thing about them is even if you have it after school's out, they're still pretty healthy because they're already the jar's already designed to have the preservatives to not make the things fail. My landlord, he's probably the most frugal person on the planet, and he just loves his tomato sandwiches. He just cuts up a tomato, maybe put some mayonnaise on it, and put it on some bread, and calls it a meal. Um, all right, like they love them too. Maybe. They're pretty good, huh? I personally I've tried doing something like that. I just, like you said, it doesn't hurt to try something new. Um, Maybe cucumbers might be a little bit more. Always. Oh, reminds me of a protein drink. You know, you get it. It sounds like it has all these good things in it, and then you drink it, and it's like just chocolate milk. With a bunch of stuff added to it. But um, another thing, even though it's more on the expensive side, hard salamis and hard cheeses, but you often find those around the holiday season, especially. They'll last for a while if you don't have access to those things. Another creative idea is if for some reason you do have food access to cooking but no way to store it, um, food can be safely left out for up to 4 hours, and so um, you can always make yourself a lunch and then just cover it up, set it aside somewhere, and then have it again for dinner. I'm going to be kind of pushing it to 5 hours or 6 hours, depending when you're eating and when you're eating lunch and when you're eating dinner. But I mean, again, the safe answer is 4 hours. So I mean, you can't eat pizza that's been left out for 8 hours if you wanted to. I mean, that's just not recommended. Correct. Correct. It probably has some preservatives. If you're what you're eating has preservatives, they'll probably last even longer. Some budget food items, I'm sure you guys already know. So like eggs and oatmeal, rice, beans, apples, carrots, bananas. Uh, Now to easy make meals, like we heard earlier, crock pot meals are fantastic. A lot of times they're designed, you can just throw something together and uh, you let it sit for usually this one doesn't have a timer. Um, this is, but you can set it to how long you want it to cook for, and then it'll just, default to, warm, and you have a nice warm meal when you come home. taco soup is what this one is. Uh, and so you can flip to the third page or or the second sheet of paper. And so what's in here is 2 cans of kidney beans, 2 cans of pinto beans, 2 cans of corn, 1 large can of tomatoes, 1 can of uh, tomatoes with chilies, and then 1 package of taco seasoning, 1 package of ranch dressing, and 1 pound of hamburger or turkey. We got hamburger tonight. So, right. It's technically in the grain category, isn't it? Yeah. Right. You have pasta with some bread and some corn. You're getting a whole lot of starch in your meal. Some toppings for this. Once you scoop it and get this cooked, put it in your bowl. You can add some lettuce, cheddar cheese, or sour cream on top of it. I'd imagine it tastes good with tofu as well. And you said this one's always a winner at your house. Not only do you cook, but everyone wants to take some home with them when you have a family over as well. 16 cups and right about 10 servings. Right? Right. Yeah. You can make as much as you want, depending on how big your pot pint size is. How big is this one? It's a gallon. Is that what full quart is as well? 4 quarts is a gallon. Yeah, usually 4 quarts is standard. But I do find with hosting parties, it can be on a lighter side. But, um, anyways, so I wonder how much I didn't look up how much those things cost. But how much is it? Yeah. What's look for them on Amazon Prime Day? Oh, $20 as low as $20, but you can go up to high as 100 and 200. One. I don't, it's interesting what you can buy out there. I'd have to look that up, but as low as $20, not bad, and a bunch of canned food. And you said this meal costs how much? The 17, and then maybe another three or so dollars, depending on how much the sour cream is to add on top. And for 10 servings, and so that comes to about $2 a plate. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's about $20 a plate anywhere you go. And that's just breakfast. A lot of times you can get a fair deal on breakfast, but even that's catching up to $20 a plate. That's for a bargain item usually too, $20. For excluding steak and fish. But, um, anyways, what else did I add here? So that was taco soup. What I skipped over, uh, what we have here is Connie's special recipe of chili. Um, her recipe is 1 pound of hamburger, 4 cans of pinto beans, a 1 can of tomato soup, 1 can of or 1 can, I guess 1 cup, a 1 can full of water. So once you get rid of the soup, just put some water in there as well. Um, about of a white onion. She said she does half of a white onion to add to the crock pot. Well, actually, no, you brown the hamburger first. You brown the hamburger, and then you put all the remaining ingredients. So just kind of, I like iron skillets for it. It seems to give a little bit better flavor for the hamburger. Um, but it holds heat better too. It takes a little longer to heat up, which I mean, think I should turn this on now, but I don't want to burn myself. And it's not the last thing I'm talking about. That's what I was told, but this may not be. It's heavy. It says base iron skillet. All right, metallic. I meant to bring my own. This one's actually borrowed from a friend, and like that'll work. We can cook meat in that. Um, and yeah, but the chili you cook on low for 6 hours. If for some reason you need it quicker, you can cook it for an hour on the stove. It depends when you want to eat it and when you want to make it. If you have an hour before dinner. And then the next one I have is chicken noodle soup. Now that's the recipe I use for um when when I'm cooking at home, and not only will it be lighter in salt because you don't have to add so much salt to keep it preserved. Anytime when you have canned food, a lot of times it's just gonna have a whole bunch of salt in there, or else it's just gonna be it's not gonna last on the shelf even if it's canned. Um, um, but I find it's fairly straightforward. I use about 8 servings. It's a whole lot, but again, when the house gets sick full of people, you just throw it on, and you have a whole bunch of soup you can reheat throughout the week. And my kids love it too, especially the noodles, which is their favorite part. Um, but I did add the link for that from where I got it from. They add a few more things. Um, I what works for me. My family tries to stay away from strong seasoning as well. But again, you do what works for you. So I guess I'm on the top of the next page. Any questions so far about crock pot? We're all good with the crock pot? I'm letting you guys all veterans with that anyways. Yeah, right? You get hopefully you get something out of this. Taco soup, I can see it, but this is basically it looks almost like chili taco soup. But leftover buffet nights are easy cooking nights too, right? um, so I put quick meals. I don't know. I shared with you all earlier. My parents, especially my mother, was um in the kitchen. They met at an Italian restaurant, but my mom also worked at a steakhouse for 14 years, and um, so she knows how to cook her steaks and get that all prepped up. And somehow I don't know how she does it, but usually she can throw a meal together in 15 minutes. A lot of times she does cheat with the microwave. If something needs to be defrosted, just throw it in the microwave. It's defrosted. I'll put it on the skillet, mix everything in, and you're all set to go. So I I'm getting close. It's more like 20 minutes. I hope this doesn't take 20 minutes. But I'll go ahead and do a sloppy Joe mix. This is her easy way of doing it. I know a lot of times if you go to a restaurant or hear someone else do sloppy joes, um, it's a lot. They put like pickles in it or some celery in it, um, and do some other flavors. But how what I grew up with was just do a pound of hamburger. We this is Costco hamburger, so 6 pounds divided into six six chunks. It's about a pound each. So I'm flattening it out, of course. Right. Well, I didn't know how well this was gonna go. I should bring the garbage can over here. Make life a whole lot easier. Right. You're welcome to do that too. I have to find some way to do that. Um, my family of four, we tend to double it. The recipe I'm doing now. So so I only put 4 servings because it depends how hungry you are. You could probably have 8. You got a bunch of toddlers and light eaters. But um, what was that? I think we'll just eat it all at once at the end. That way we just keep on going. And then 'cause there's not too much left. There's like a page after this. So and the next thing I don't know if your kids are like my kids or like my sister. I'm not probably gonna call her out, but they didn't like their vegetables. So I'm cutting up the vegetable here and but whatever you call it. I heard someone else not remembering all the terms for cooking, and no, I'm doing it. But yeah, you can grate some carrot. Now you get, I believe, a little more fiber in your meal. And the person who's just dead set against vegetables gets a little vegetable in their diet, whether they wanted to or not. I already got almost my half a cup that my recipe calls for right here, so I'll just add it to it. You probably want to do this before you start cooking, but like I said, I don't know how long this takes, and Connie's already ready to eat. I did not, no. Yeah, because yeah, the, there's already fat in the meat, so that should be plenty. Yes, because you'll have to drain it at the end, anyways. But I guess that's true. You could add it, I suppose, but um, yeah, I put a cover on it because usually it cooks a little quicker when you put a cover on it. Um, so cook carrots and hamburger until brown. Um, one trick when cooking, if you get to know your pan and your stove, um, you can turn the burner off and just let it sit because it'll still cook even if it's off, and especially if it's a nice thick pan. So if you cook it off, turn it off early, you can let it sit on the burner and let the remaining heat, especially if it's covered, continue to do the cooking. If it's done and you don't want it any more brown, any more cooked, then of course, make sure you take it off the burner, put it somewhere where it's not hot so it doesn't keep cooking. And I usually cook the pan itself will a whole lot quicker than I'll leave it on the burner. But a tip to kind of save on time and energy is again just by leaving it. With hamburger, I tend to do that when it's called rare when it's done, like steak. It's still fairly pink, but medium rare. So, but once if you get it to where the pink's almost gone, then you can turn it off again, let it sit on the burner, and next time when you come back and move it around, so you don't burn your meat, then where am I going? When you come back, it's all ready to go. Uh, once this is done cooking, once it's almost there, I didn't add drain. That should be. Oh, anytime when you're cooking with beef, you want to drain the fat that's in there before the next step. Yeah. So I'm adding brown sugar. I think that was my mom's secret ingredient to almost every recipe. Just just adding brown sugar. You should add a half a cup. Well, it sweetens it for sure. I notice when I don't add it, I've left it out before. It tastes more like chili. Because I got a can of Hormel's chili, and you notice with this 2 tablespoons instead of a half a cup. Last counts place and uh, it's pretty much that. So I'll turn it off and let it finish cooking. And so she shared how of the benefits of receiving counseling. Um, yeah, it could be from very basic to I don't want to be as anxious when I go out and meet people to as serious as I don't know what to do with my life. So but she says they help people with all different kinds of ranges and with wherever they're at. And they said it could be as short as three sessions or it could be 2 years. They're helping people figure out how to move forward in their life. And um uh what I enjoyed about her coming is just her sharing um how to deal with conflict in whatever, especially in your own family. Um, again, all these things are recorded, so you can watch online at home and uh, see it again. The same one you registered with, uh, it definitely takes you. It in the end takes you to a YouTube link, but MTO Corning, that's the handle for this church as well. MTO Corning, the town, but the website mtocorning.org. Eventually, if you go to the same spot where you register, you'll see class notes. Yeah, MTO. Correct. Yeah, for Mount Olive. This is being recorded. All right. And the hope is that this can be a resource that anyone can look at, even though usually when you're in person, you get to ask the questions and everything. Um, not everyone can always make it for whatever reason, one way or another. So it looks good. Why am I pausing? When carrots don't look pink, but when they're all shredded up and mixed it with hamburger, um, I'm a little harder to tell. But getting a whole mouse chili with no beans, and so I got to find a spot to put it in. I'm fine with this. There's a bowl. I'll put it in the bowl. Sometimes, depending on what system you have, people usually say throwing fat down the drain isn't the best idea. But I can't imagine it being too bad if you keep running hot water. So if you got to do dishes anyways afterward, correct. Right. Like I said, if you're doing dishes afterwards anyways, it shouldn't really matter. I think this is paper. Yeah, this is paper. So you can tell there's hardly any grease coming out of this. If you forgot, you're probably not going to notice. But I've learned, it is okay to have fat in your diet. In fact, my wife and I are both fatless cooks. We don't really add fat to anything. And I started losing weight because I wasn't going to the restaurants anymore. So I decided to start learning creative ways to add fat. So you can add butter to your vegetables. You can have a piece of toast with some flour. You put a whole bunch of butter on that piece of toast and help me get adding fat to my diet. Not too many. Yeah, I'm learning about that problem, but I also learned toddlers and little kids, and some were first eaters. Fat's very good for their actually growth development, and so um, that's interesting as well. So where am I at this? So add sugar and chili. Yeah. Mm, and bring spoon. Usually it just comes right out, but not this time. Like because it's wet from the carrots. Well, there's not a whole lot of people here, so it might be everyone separate tonight. We got two meals and a side. I said, Connie, we need a side. There's too much protein. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to promise. So we could, because the can's not warm, um, you might want to heat it up a little bit just to get it to a more, doesn't taste like leftovers already. All right. And the food tastes better too. All right. So I don't know if you can see, but basically this is what it turned into. Um, Usually I have it over buns, but again, I assumed there was going to be a whole lot of stretch in it. I didn't want to cut up the buns and everything, so I just did Doritos. You can do either or. I can put it on the bun first and then finish it with Doritos. Um, but um, yeah, I don't know how long that took. That's almost 7 here. Um, but yeah, we're having too much fun, aren't we? So no. So I am trying to at least be done at 7. So there's that. You got sloppy joes. It didn't take too long. Not too many ingredients. That's another reason why I chose this. It doesn't. I know every time I go on a website, you see something with like 20 ingredients. With half of the seasonings I've never even heard of before. And um, right, right, right. And so I try to make sure that everything on here is very basic and tries to use seasonings that you would normally use at home. Um, I'm there's next to two quick meals on the bottom. Um, range of temperature I can reach. Double check. Don't want to leave it burn on when it's when it's done. No need to overcook it. I'll have to keep it warm. The next two are from a, a gal named Amber Stork, who has her own YouTube channel called Pepper Princess. She said the way she called it prepper was from the name I think just trying to prepare for. I guess you could say basic life skills, but just trying to prepare for it. With life, it's not supposed to be end times type thinking. It's not preparing for when our economic times, just preparing to do life. Uh, but now she's got all kinds of things. Not only does she have cooking, she has finances, she has a bunch of money saving tips on there. And so one of the things is she called it her Fuddruckers chicken sandwich copycat recipe, $30. So she talked about how she found a discount chicken at the grocery store because it was covering soon and just put it on the stove. She added, she just and shelf for you. So chicken, hamburger buns, butter, vegetable oil, potatoes, and seasoning. So you kind of chicken and hamburger buns went together, and vegetable oil, potatoes, and seasoning went together. I think maybe vegetable oil for the chicken as well. Between those two dishes, she had her own a chicken sandwich with potatoes, basically, like rice. And, um, another thing is she found a bun on sale one day, and just decided to cook it. She cooked it like she would a ham. So she had a barbecue sauce, A&W soda, and then she tore it open. I want to say blended it, but I don't think she blended it. Broke it down. About hamburgers. Right. She shredded meat and put on a hamburger bun. And that was a cheap, yummy meal she had too. Right. She is the crock pot. Yeah, I was the crock pot meal. So there's a lot more work for her after she lays down to how to spread the pork. That does not too much more work. But with this, you can just take a scoop and be on your way. So cheap meals. Uh, should be told anything nice again. A cheap meal. Just I find even the restaurant, you can hardly beat the prices anywhere else. And same thing with taking them at home. There's beans and rice, basic steak when they add meat and hamburger and chicken. It's it's uh it's very I do get tired of at times, but I can think and there's a lot of work to that, especially if you have a lot of little things added on like a salad and a tortilla. But with a whole bunch of different ingredients. You can even have lettuce to it. I like lettuce in my burritos and tacos. But there's that. Stir fry. I guess a lot of people tend to like stir fry. I think it's got the best vegetables. I guess kind of like the alternative to salad. The salad's too healthy for you. Just put the vegetables instead and add a little olive oil uh, and again, I believe this one was also Amber Stork. Um, and she added some bacon to it, and then it was good. Right? So it helps with why do you like to blend it? Why do you like to blend oh, to process it? Okay. Oh, I see. I think it does it very quickly too. Yeah, no food processor, the vegetables in there. One thing I found is one pot creamy pesto chicken pasta. I almost thought about having this tomorrow night myself. I wanted to add this one too, but I knew there wasn't going to be enough time. Um, that one's from budgetbites.com. I learned that was another resource that people kind of really enjoy. And with a few recipes on there, like this is all good. There's a whole, I think I'll have to pick up on them as well. Any thoughts you want to add? All right. Uh, one nice meal, if you want to do something nice for your friends, I find Sunday dinners. If you do Google Sunday dinners, I found the Food Network actually had a whole yummy list of Sunday dinner ideas. Seemed to be a great way to probably buy something a little more expensive, like a roast, to go with the meal. But at the same time, it's kind of similar. Where a lot of times you're putting it in a crock pot, letting it sit over time. You do have a whole lot more ingredients you're adding to it. Sometimes like red wine, and once the wine is cooked, it's not really an alcoholic. It's just more flavor added to your meat. But you get a variety of spices, and it's something different than we go or PB&J every day. That's for a budget week. One idea tip to save money is live off the land. Some people say, why do people put gardens in their home? They don't make any money. It costs you both time and money to keep the water, the green, especially out here in California. But if you can figure out a way to do gardens, although some people have already done gardening before. I'm not a garden expert. I have to keep looking for resources for gardening. You can also look for store discounts. Other things to mention, again, I mentioned with brown sugar, you want to pack it in, making sure it's in there on the last page here. But everything else, you pretty much level it off. You don't pack it in, you're not getting the right amount that the recipes are asking for. With liquids, and here, you want to look at below. It depends on how much you're looking, but you want to look at the bottom of whatever you're seeing for the liquid, and you're not measuring from the top. Some liquids stick to the side more than others. For foods, I can tip here. We talk about vegetables. One easy way to cook food is just grab a steamer. Basically, it's a pot, something with some holes on the bottom, and just add some water to it. Make sure it's not above the holes at the bottom. You add your food, your vegetables, like broccoli. I find 5-10 minutes tends to cook it for me. Connie says it takes her 20 minutes to get a broccoli how depending if she likes it. But I just put smoke in it, and that's how I know when it's done. With broccoli, you can definitely smell it when it tends to be done too. Um, um, yeah, and there's more nutrients you get that you don't lose that get soaked in the water. So of course you want to do this with potatoes or um, or sweet potatoes or things like that. But more solid vegetable type things you'd put in here. You can steam it. Again, it's supposed to be the healthier, nutritious out there. Again, this is one type of strainer. It's a whole entire pot. Some of them you can buy. You just put it in a pot and put a lid on top of that. And this one's designed, it just folds out, designed to fit whatever type of pot you have. Usually that can fit even a Dutch oven. What else do I have on here? Yeah, that's steamer. And then I put on here a thermometer. This has been my handy dandy tool for cooking anything, reheating. Really, I just stick it in. A lot of times it tells you what you want, what type. With chicken, it's the done temperature at 160, and then with steak, you got the range between 145 and 160 is well done, and 145 more the rare. I prefer the middle one. You usually get more flavor the more rare it is. So you're gonna want to balance. Anything else? Um, I wasn't able to as I was flapping my lips, I wasn't able to clean as I was going. But what? Right. And I recognize I did not plug in my laptop, so my laptop is dying. So again, I'm on the last page. Yeah, if you can clean up anything as much as you can before you cook or before you're done cooking, then clean up after cooking doesn't have to be so exhausting. You can move on your day. Of course, you got to clean up your dishes and other things like that from you actually eating. But this is this that's pretty much up of the basics of cooking. There's some other things on here you can look at, but I think we're good on in terms of time. Of course, we want to add how does this connect with faith? 1 Peter 4:9 says, show hospitality to one another without grumbling, as each has received the gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's grace. So some people may say their gift is cooking, and some say it is not. But hopefully with some easy tips, when someone does come over or when you're helping others, it's not so much of a chore. The more you learn it, the more you want to share it with others and just enjoy a good meal with others. And that was another money saving tip. Sometimes when you buy things in bulk, it's cheaper. So in some ways, if you can have it set up where you take turns, families take turns of providing a meal, you can not only do you get a free meal on occasion, but buying in bulk, you can actually save on that meal than if you were to again just cook on your own. So especially living as a single person, it's hard to it's hard because it's like it's almost might as well go out to eat because the price is almost sometimes even the same. I guess not so much anymore, but um, but that's it. Yes. And that's another option too. Some things do freeze well. I don't know what that would be. I got to get my power cord before I don't have any more power. Correct. Yeah, you can't freeze everything forever. But usually, I imagine years at a time though. You can you can get going. Any other questions before we get going? Yes. Yeah. Well, we'll take all the food over. I didn't mention grating cheese. I'll put on top of the vegetables if you want to give a little more flavor to your cheese, but I got that option as well as we're talking about going over and eating. All right. Well, thank you for the presentation, joining me for the presentation, and let's eat.
Thank you. Then the next week is finance.